Welcome to a very special interview. I'm Trevor Denton with USC Annenberg Media Sports, and I'm joined by none other than USC Athletic Director Mike Bohn. Thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to join
you.
me.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
I haven't had the chance to personally say this to you, but welcome to USC. We're very happy to have you at the school. How much have you enjoyed the job over the last 30 days acclimating to it?
Well, thank you for the warm welcome, because that's exactly what I felt like I have had. And people have been so embracing of our challenges and our opportunities and shared those. And that's fun when you can be around people that have a deep competitive desire to grow and improve and represent USC with pride and distinction. And so that's been very, very nice.
And I know over the past month or so, you've built up a great relationship with head coach Clay Helton. What was your conversation like with him on Wednesday before the news was announced that he would be keeping his job in 2020?
Well, we've been working on that since the day I arrived, because obviously he's trying to look for opportunities on how he can gain additional equity with the program, with his players. And I'm looking for opportunities on how can we add additional resources, tools, and ways to improve the competitiveness of his team as well. So we're on the same team. And so from day one, the question was, what can I do to help you? And that's where we are now today, is what can I do to help you? And I think that's why I am really working hard to ensure that our fans, our students, season ticket holders, donors, corporate sponsors, faculty, anybody tied to, and in many ways the media too, anyway tied to the program, for help them understand that our desire is to be the best. We are not saying we are there yet by any means, but we're going to add as many tools and resources and a deep dive into every aspect of the football enterprise to ensure that we can be the best. So that's the objective. And how long that will take, I don't know, but I'm certainly inspired by his young team and the player development that he has put together with so many young players that he stands for. And I think that's why he's our football coach.
I'm sure you're aware of some of the strong reaction to this decision, especially on social media. Some fans have said that they're canceling their season tickets or canceling booster donations. So how do you win those fans back on your side?
Well, I think we've got to win them back by helping talk about the important values, or what's important here. I mean, obviously the integrity of our football program, but more importantly, the USC family. And in the short time that I've been here, that is a real thing. And so if we are a family, then let's work on our challenges as we address those collectively and putting those together. And I will be out engaging members of those groups. And I think it's important to understand not everybody is negative.
Sure.
And there is a lot of support and a lot of people that are interested in trying to be a part of the solution. And you have to remember, our recruits are watching us. And I hope they see a committed, dedicated USC family, a Trojan family that they want to be a part of. And I think it's important to understand that. And so that's why I'm challenging, again, the Trojan family to unite, and for all of us to understand that, hey, when the stadium is full, in my view, the best college football venue in America, when it's full, it's special. And we want students and student athletes to want to be a part of that. And the best way for them to want to be a part of it is to have support and enthusiasm and putting that together. And I'm convinced, to a player across all 21 sports, if you ask them, do you play harder, faster, stronger when the stadiums are full, or do you not? I think we both know what the answer there is, so that's what we're trying to do.
For sure. And in interviews in the past, you've said that you didn't consider any other head coaching options besides Clay Helton. Why was that?
Well, obviously, anytime you have a head coach and you have an existing locker room that's supportive and together and working hard, and a young team, I think it's important to sustain the sense of momentum that you have there. And some say, well, what kind of momentum? But I think Clay did his best job this year, winning 8 games and 5 out of 6. He's 24-4 all time in the Coliseum. That's pretty impressive.
And what are some concrete improvements, though, that you want to see going forward?
Well, I'd like to see us, obviously, in our line play on both sides of the ball, be more dominant. I think we want to be more physical on defense. We certainly want to continue to be exciting on offense and putting that together. We want to be able to run the ball, and obviously it helps when you have healthy running backs and all the different things put together. So, again, I don't think there's anything that isn't on the table associated with the desire to improve.
What are the tangible results that you need to see year to year for Clay Helton to justify keeping his job beyond just 2020?
Well, obviously it's always about making progress, and that's why I thought when I mentioned that he had his best season this last year coaching is because that's what he had. They faced a lot of adversity, a top 10 schedule, injuries at key positions, having to play lots of different quarterbacks and so forth, and they improved along the year and kept growing and kept competing. And I think that's a tribute to Coach, but also the young men that play for him and for his staff.
This is never an easy thing to talk about, but you've alluded to that there might be changes amongst the assistant coaching ranks. What kind of influence will you have over those decisions that will be made in the future?
Well, I'll certainly work with Coach and talk about those, so it'll be interesting to see how that comes together.
Any areas in particular?
Well, right now we are focused on trying to do everything we can to be competitive in the bowl game, win the bowl game that we're going to play in, and I anticipate playing a really tough team. So we're going to have to be ready, and that's where the focus is right now.
Has the varsity blues scandal that's kind of erupted over the past semester or so, has that impacted any of your decisions as athletic director so far?
No, I think that clearly under President Folt's leadership and others on campus have done a great job of helping instill the sense of integrity and transparency and openness that this university stands for, doing a great job with that. And as we talk with people that bring up any types of situation like that in recruiting, we let them know that that is our focus and that's what we're committed to, and I believe that resonates well with them.
At the University of Cincinnati, a big focus for you, we were talking about this before, but a big focus for you was upgrading facilities, pouring money into that, into Nippert Stadium, the football stadium. Is that any plans for you? Do you have any plans for that at USC, maybe with some other sports? I know the Coliseum just got renovated, but for some other sports?
Well, obviously the Coliseum being renovated is phenomenal. I salute all the great leaders and donors and institutional staff members that help make that a reality. That is impressive. Mm-hmm. It really is. And I'm proud of the arena project at Cincinnati and the stadium and different things. But right now, I believe the focus is on intensity of interest, building a fan base, getting people to games, helping us in recruiting, mm-hmm. helping us in creating an environment that's tough for the other teams to play in. That's what our teams play against on the road. So why wouldn't we have a similar type environment at home? And I recognize we have some work to do there, and that's what we'll be working hard on.
You were a football and baseball player, right, at Kansas during your undergraduate days. How does that kind of impact how you are as an administrator?
Well, I'd like to believe that as an all-league clipboard quarterback, which is what I was, and a reserve baseball player, but I was proud to have never missed a practice in 4 years and to really worked hard to help be a program leader and someone that helps in the locker room in any way that we can. And I think as athletic director, you think, okay, how can you influence positively competitiveness, team environment, recruiting, all the critical pieces that makes a program great. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I'm really challenging the base and our donors and our fans to understand that that's really what it's about. It's about supporting these young men and these young women that wear our uniform, that have mm-hmm. USC on their uniforms to be successful. And that's why it's imperative that we do that. Mm-hmm.
And you just mentioned bringing up interest amongst the fan base, but something that fans are concerned about right now with the football program at the very least is recruiting. Especially just today, it was announced that an offensive lineman is decommitted, and he tweeted that USC is in the past. So how do you help bring football recruiting into the future?
Well, that's one person's opinion,
right.
And who knows what went into those decisions associated with that young man. But we also picked up 4 commitments that haven't been announced yet. NCAA rules preclude me from talking about them by name mm-hmm. in the last 4 or 5 days, and so I'm inspired by that.
You're inspired by that. You're fine with the way that recruiting is going, at least at the moment.
No, I recognize it's an importance for us to finish strong, and Clay Helton and his staff have historically shown the ability to close, and that's what we're doing. We're in the closing process, and that's why I'm asking everybody to help us do that.
What impressed you the most about the way the team was able to finish 5-1 over the last 6 games?
The way they stuck together, the way they stayed together in the locker room and in practice, and the way they competed, and their ability to really never waver as far as their confidence in each other and their ability to compete.
What excites you the most about Clay Helton's leadership going forward?
The development of players and how he has the ability to make players better, and his integrity and his overall competitive spirit. As I mentioned earlier, he's the son of a coach, and I think he's got that in his blood, and that's helpful.
Thank you so much for joining me. That's all the time we have. Really appreciate your time, taking time to meet with students.
Thank you very much. You bet.
Thank you very much. From Studio A at the USC Annenberg School, I'm Trevor Denton. Thanks for tuning in.